to the 56th Annual Armed Forces Day Parade. I'm your host for this sector of the parade, Emmett Miller, and for the announcing stand, may I give a great big welcome and a round of applause for the generals and the elected officials that are sitting in the stands. Once again, folks, this is the North American Navyons. 3 of their ships, they're from Whiteman. These are the 805s, and these North American aviation Navyons were used by the United States Air Force Training Command. I think I hear them in the distance. These are the Stearmans. PT-17 Cadets. Frank Mauro and Chris Hicks. Round of applause. Once again, these were military trainers, preparing pilots for service in World War II. My, how things have changed. And gathering in the distance, it looks like the motorcycle drill team is about to come. Let me tell you a little bit about them. The drill team performs several times a year at events like the King Parade, Canoga Park Memorial Day Parade, the LAPD Valley Traffic Division's Still Saving Lives car show, the Nisei Week Parade, Highland Park Veterans Day Parade, and the Hollywood Christmas Parade. So if you've been to any of those, you might have seen them before. The drill team is composed of a drill master, 16 or 20 motor officers and 4 squads, and tail motors. Here's something to keep an eye out for. One of the trail motorcycles is a restored 1942 Harley Davidson. It was purchased, restored, and maintained at the expense of the drill team officer that rides it. This is a citywide unit, and it's got motor officers from all areas of the city. The LAPD drill team. Show them some appreciation as they come back by, folks. Being a member of the LAPD motorcycle drill team requires sacrifice on behalf of its members. The drill team members are required to adjust their own schedules to attend practice and drill team appearances. Most of the drill team's performances are held on holidays and/or weekends. The ancillary duty also mandates that the members keep their riding skills sharp, even sharper than that of other motor officers throughout the department. The drill team members have to have confidence and trust in themselves and their other members, as you can well imagine. Timing, communication, teamwork of utmost importance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the LAPD's finest. These are the men who protect and serve. These are the men and women who keep our streets safe, who keep our highways viable, who give us the peace of mind to sleep every night knowing we're protected. Once again, I'm sure, as you can see, over the years, the bikes have changed, the equipment's changed. I'm sure many of you can remember years past, the old Harley Davidsons. And now the bikes they ride on are supersonic, super fast. Built for speed and mobility. Round of applause, folks. And a quick lineup before the reviewing stand. LA's finest, saluting the world's finest. That might be the 1942 Harley Davidson we spoke of. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, the Joint Services Color Guard. Big round of applause. The Joint Services Color Guard is commanded by Sergeant First Class Christopher Jackson. The National Color is presented by Sergeant First Class Samuel Gomez Velez. The United States Army Colors, presented by Staff Sergeant Israel Schaefer. The United States Marine Corps flag is presented by Sergeant Philip Charvet. The United States Navy flag presented by Machinists First Mate First Class Roberto Martinez. The United States Air Force flag is presented by Mr. Noel Fernandez. The United States Coast Guard flag is presented by Health Services Technician Petty Third Officer Class James High. The guard protecting the right side of the national colors is Specialist Michael Sullivan, and the guard on the left is Sergeant Kim Elia. Round of applause, folks. Next, we have our Grand Marshal, Rear Admiral Joseph A. Servideo. Rear Admiral Servideo assumed his duties as commander of the 11th Coast Guard District in June of 2014. As such, he oversees multi-mission Coast Guard operations from the California-Oregon border to Peru, including Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. Previous commands include key assignments: Assistant Commander for the Prevention Policy, Special Advisor to Homeland Security and the Vice President, 1st Coast Guard District Chief of Staff. Hey, Ted. I'll call you later. Honorary Grand Marshal Ted Lange, ladies and gentlemen. We couldn't have Gopher or Captain Stubing here, but nonetheless, we give you our heartfelt, warmest thanks. This is our Honorary Grand Marshal. Mr. Lange has gained worldwide recognition as a gifted actor of stage and screen, revered director, prolific writer. He's penned 23 plays, including a one-man show on the life of Paul Laurence Dunbar. And how did that go? Isaac from the Love Boat, perhaps you recognize him there, but a wonderful human being and someone who supports our armed forces. I think the thing that many people don't really realize is that Isaac here has directed a vast number of TV comedies and a feature film for the love of Amy. So someone who is in front of the camera now directing what we watch in front of the camera. The father of 2 sons, Ted Lange IV and Turner Lange. We'll get to a few later, okay? And you can hear him in the distance. This is the Air Force Band of the Golden West. This band hails from Travis Air Force Base in Northern California, the United States Air Force Band of the Golden West. They're the only active duty Air Force band west of the Rockies, under the command of Captain Dustin Doyle. The Band of the Golden West maintains a rich heritage of musical excellence, outstanding Air Force professionalism, and over 250 annual performances throughout the western states. This, folks, is a ceremonial marching band. They perform in official military ceremonies, military and civilian parades, patriotic events for the general public, such as you and I. Let's listen in as they approach. Let's give them a warm welcome. How are you, sir? Elected to the City Council June 2008, Mayor 2015, round of applause. The man who leads the city, a resident of Torrance for 27 years, Mayor Fury served 2 years in the U.S. Army, and riding with him today is his wife, Terry. Happy birthday, Terry. Round of applause, folks. And their grandsons, Shay and Dylan Cardenas. Folks, overhead, as I welcome Councilman Kurt Wiedemann. Welcome, sir. Overhead, we have more planes. Stinson L-5 Sentinels. Pilot Chris Bergen is an L-5 Sentinel, combat veteran. This plane served in Iwo Jima. Councilman Kurt Wiedemann, elected to City Council, June 2014, a resident of Torrance for over 50 years. And riding with him today is his wife, Sue Golden, their son, Christopher Golden Wiedemann, and daughter, Jean Golden Wiedemann. Warm welcome. Jean Barnett, another councilman elected to the City Council in June 2008, Torrance resident for 61 years. And say hello to his wife, Linda, and their granddaughter, Gabby Cristofaro. Councilmember Heidi Ashcraft, elected to the City Council June 2014, a resident of Torrance for 37 years. Her husband, Dan, with her there, granddaughter, Annabelle Armendariz. And what a wonderful day. The rain is held off for us as well, huh? Warm welcome for another council member, Mr. Tim Goodrich. Elected to City Council June 2014, Mr. Goodrich has served 4 years in the U.S. Air Force. And riding with him today, his wife, Mev, and soon-to-be-born son, expected June 5th. It's a nice gift. Ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Jeff Rizzo. Round of applause, please. Elected to the City Council June 2014, a resident of Torrance for 58 years, riding with him today his wife Donna and their daughter Ro. Welcome, sir. And next in line in the procession, Councilman Mike Griffiths, appointed to the City Council August 2014, a resident of Torrance for over 32 years, and riding with him today his son Alex Griffiths and the girlfriend Cecilia Geronimo. Wonderful for our elected officials to show up, show their support for the armed forces and for us as we do the same. City Clerk Rebecca Poirier, folks. She was elected to the City Clerk's office in June 2014, a resident of Torrance for 8 years. Riding with her today, her friend Leslie Cortez. And next in the procession, the City Treasurer Dana Cortez. Warm round of applause. Ms. Cortez was elected as City Treasurer in June 2010. She's been serving the residents of Torrance for over 15 years, and riding with her today, her husband Leo Barragan and their daughters Vanessa, Ariana, and Natasha Barragan. Ladies and gentlemen, next a name we all know and love.
Mustang coming in 1 minute.
Congressman Ted Lieu. Accompanying him today is his son Austin and Austin's friend Garin Desjardins. Congressman Lieu is a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force Reserve. And if that's not wearing two hats, we have
Mustang coming in now.
And folks, as we welcome Maxine Waters, United States Congresswoman, not enough can be said about her. Keep your eye on the sky. We have a Mustang coming in. This will be a North American P-51 Mustang with pilots Darren Moore and Matt Jackson. Miss Maxine Waters, 13th term in the U.S. Congress, proudly representing several cities in the South Bay: Torrance, Lomita, Lawndale, Inglewood, Hawthorne, Gardena, South Los Angeles, parts of Harbor Gateway and Harbor City, continuing to fight for a better quality of life for seniors, families, and small businesses. California State Assemblyman David Hadley. Round of applause, folks. Assemblyman David Hadley was elected to represent the South Bay, including the city of Torrance, November 2014. Committed to protecting the South Bay quality of life, improving our business climate, and fighting for more local control of our schools. He and his wife Suzanne have 4 kids: Jack, Claire, Ellen, and Faith. Jack is a cadet in the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Hats off. Claire and Ellen are students at Maricosta High School. Faith attends Manhattan Beach Middle School. Coming up next, Captain Jennifer F. Williams, United States Coast Guard. Round of applause. Captain Williams serves as the sector commander and captain of the port for U.S. Coast Guard sector from Los Angeles to Long Beach. From command offices on Terminal Island and San Pedro, the sector, there's our Mustang, folks. This sector coordinates operations in an area of responsibility 350 miles along the coast. Brigadier General Joseph M. Martin, folks. Commanding General of the National Training Center, Fort Irwin. He served in a variety of troop assignments. From 87 to 90, he served as a tank platoon leader, scout platoon leader, company executive officer. This was 1st Battalion, 37th Armored Regiment in the 1st Armored Division. He's been everywhere, Baqaba, Iraq. He commanded the 2nd Brigade, 1st Infantry Division, Fort Riley, Kansas. Colonel Andrew Wickers, U.S. Army Reserve. Colonel Wickers is a deputy commander of the 311th Expeditionary Sustainment Command in Los Angeles, California. A logistics unit, more than 6,000 soldiers spread throughout California, Arizona, and Nevada. He is also deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Force 160, Guantanamo Bay. He's been awarded the Bronze Star, the Meritorious Service Medal, and a lot more. And entering the viewing area, a warm welcome for Major General Vincent A. Colonnese. Major General Colonnese is currently the commanding general for 1st Marine Logistics Group on board Camp Pendleton, California, and some of his prior commands include Commanding Officer, Combat Logistics Regiment 27, the 2nd Marine Logistics Group, that's out of Camp Lejeune, and the Commanding Officer, Marine Installation Corps, out of Camp Pendleton, California. His personal decorations include the Defense Superior Service Medal, the Legion of Merit with Combat Distinguishing Service, and the Bronze Star with Combat Distinguishing Service, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, Rear Admiral Patrick J. Lorge. You may recognize him from parades past. Rear Admiral Patrick Lorge is commander of the Navy Region Southwest, leading installation management for 10 Navy bases in California and Nevada, a critical support to the fleet. Housing, security, safety, quality of life, other important functions for hundreds of thousands of active duty. He's riding in the parade with his wife, Donna, and a warm welcome to her as well. Next up, Lieutenant General Samuel Greaves. Warm round of applause, please. Lieutenant Greaves is commander of the Space and Missile Systems Center. How are you, sir? Air Force Command, Air Force Space Command, Los Angeles Air Force Base, and the Air Force Program Executive Officer for Space. He manages the research, the design, the development, acquisition, and sustainment of satellites. Responsible for more than 5,000 employees and an annual budget of $6 billion, accompanied by his wife, Mrs. Patricia Greaves. Welcome. California Air National Guard Brigadier General Nathaniel Reddix. Round of applause. General Nate Reddix serves as Adjutant, Assistant Adjutant General, California Air National Guard, as Installation Commander for Joint Forces Training Base Los Alamitos, folks. He's a senior advisor to the Adjutant General, shares responsibility for organization, training, and readiness of 22,000 National Guard soldiers and airmen all throughout California. He's accompanied by his wife, Peggy. Major Arthur Black, Legion of Valor. Legion of Valor was organized on April 23rd, 1890 in D.C. It has as its membership personnel who are recipients of the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Cross, the Navy Cross, and the Air Force Cross. Sergeant Scott Montoya from the Legion of Valor. This gentleman received the Navy Cross while serving as a scout sniper for the 2nd Battalion, 23rd Marine Division during Operation Iraqi Freedom. That deserves a tip of a hat. He evacuated a wounded Marine that couldn't get off a fire-swept street. A hero as well to those around him. Sergeant Edward Foster. Sergeant Foster got the Bronze Star Medal with V for Valor as a medic in the Korean War at the Battle for Pork Chop Hill, 14th November, 1952. He provided aid to a soldier who needed further attention. He was wounded 3 days later, 17th November, 1952, Outpost Pork Chop. Heroism and duty. Heroism and duty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the North High School Saxon Regiment Marching Band and Color Guard. North High School Saxon Regiment, Marching Band and Color Guard. They recently took 2nd place in Division III at California State Band Championships in November. Under the direction of Brian Smith, Drum Major, Mika Okabe, Assistant Drum Major, Xavier Escalante, and Percussion Captain is Rosie Turquios, Color Guard Captain Melissa Hirabayashi. Warm round of applause, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, coming into the reviewing area, the Montford Point Marine Association Incorporated. The Montford Point Marines. These are the forerunners of today's modern Marine Corps. June 1942 to September 1949, 20,000 black Marines training at a separate boot camp at Montford Point Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. In World War II, every Marine amphibious landing except Guadalcanal, they were there in direct support of these operations and received many battle citations for heroic actions. And they also know how to choose their automobiles. As General Alexander Vandergrift, Commandant of the Marine Corps, referred to them as the chosen few, they are no longer on trial. These are Marines. They received the Congressional Gold Medal, June 27, 2012, from the President of the United States. Warm round of applause. Heartwarming to know that so many military personnel are here today, and we give you a great big welcome. Folks who are across from the stands, perhaps you could identify some of the generals, some of the elected officials who are here. People that have come out to support every other branch. This is a family, make no mistake. And they are a part of our family. These are our international police. And we salute them and we love them. Coming up next, you'll see a Pearl Harbor survivor. In the words of Dick Corder from the USS Oglala, he says, You might say I watched the whole thing. He says the worst part for him was having to help fight the fires on Battleship Row. He says about 25 of them from the USS Oglala were sent out to help fight the fires on Battleship Row.
6 trucks are coming in right now.
Who's this?
6 trucks.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a man who was fighting the fire on the USS West Virginia Sunday at noontime and the USS Virginia Monday, and moved over to the USS Arizona and stayed there until the fire was out Wednesday morning with no sleep. Pearl Harbor. Salute, please. And overhead, North American Aviation's AT-6 SNJ. Or thereabouts. We'd like to welcome the 100th 442nd Veterans Association. After Pearl Harbor was attacked, those of Japanese ancestry living in the United States were treated as the enemy. 120,000 people unjustly arrested and placed in camps. Despite this, they came on to join the 100th Infantry Battalion and the 442nd, and became some of the most decorated in the war. Welcome, gentlemen. Their decorations include 8 Presidential Unit Citations, 21 Congressional Medals of Honor. Welcome, sir. These are World War II veterans, folks. Riding in this parade are veterans from all branches of the military, 90 years and older. These folks have served our country in Iwo Jima, Okinawa, Pearl Harbor, Guadalcanal, Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, keeping America free. God bless them. Let's stand up and salute them if you're not already standing, folks. Russ Meyer, Navy signalman, 3rd class. Leroy Forehand, Joe DeMulis, Harry Nelson, Joe Fahey, Martin Stilo, Dick Noki, all of them here to support us once again after so many years. These are the veterans, folks. Veterans of World War II. Some of the names of the people you're saluting. Ladies and gentlemen, applaud them as they go by. Just a few of the folks you're seeing: Richard Farrell, an Army sergeant for the support group, Jim White, Charles Deemer, Harvey Reeves, Pete Ellis, flying 36 missions for the Army Air Corps as an Army Tech Sergeant on the B-17, Albert Campbell, Martin Pritzcat, Joe Eskenazi, an Army Private First Class, December 7th, 1941 at Hickman Field. They call them the greatest generation. Overhead, North American Aviation's AT-6 and SNJ. This is the Navy's most heavily used trainer throughout its service life. Welcome, gentlemen. We salute you. Okay. Folks, once again, not in this order, but some of the names that you're seeing here. Jose Hernandez, serving in the Army 36th Combat in Italy, starting with 200 men, one of 6 surviving soldiers. Andy Hermanson, serving in the Marine Corps, 38th Parallel. Marshal Powell, Raymond Ray Burrows, Charles McQuarrie, Robert Wallace, a Chief Petty Officer Medic for the USS Enterprise. These are not memories. These memories are kept alive by the men and women who are here today to let us know that freedom is a hard-fought commodity that can never be taken for granted. In their words, if you love your freedom and if you love your country, thank a World War II vet. Straight overhead, ladies and gentlemen, a North American T-28, pilot Dan Hill. This is a T-28 Trojan, the successor to the T-6 and the SNJ aircraft during World War II. The Combat Infantrymen's Association, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure this is one of the Humvees, one of the Army support vehicles. And now a warm round of applause for Louis Zamperini family and friends. A Torrance hometown hero. Louis Zamperini was an Olympian and a Christian, the one who put Torrance on the map. A juvenile delinquent in youth stealing pies, cigarettes, and liquor, what began as a career of running from the police got Louis selected as one of the American athletes to participate in the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games. In this entry, we have Dalen Kung, Torrance High School senior, captain of the 2015 track and field team, wearing a throwback uniform. And this is very similar to the one that Louis wore when he ran track for Torrance High in the 1930s. Louis has 2 children, 1 grandson. All 3 are here riding today. Riding in the Humvee is his daughter, Cynthia Zamperini, Garris, son, Luke Zamperini, and his wife, Lisa, his favorite and only grandson, Clay, and his girlfriend. His girlfriend is named Camber, and that's along with Louis' best friend, Jim Standifer. Grandson Clay, by the way, continuing the legacy of the grandfather's Victory Boys Camp, which helps juvenile delinquents find a path in life. The apples that don't fall far from the tree. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine Scouts Heritage Society. Round of applause. It's the 26th U.S. Cavalry, Philippine Scouts Mounted Ceremonial Unit. They fought at the outbreak of World War II in the Philippines. It was comprised of American officers and Philippine troopers. They were the last U.S. Cavalry regiment that fought on horseback. They have the distinction of conducting the last cavalry charge in the history of the U.S. Army. And today the legend of the 26th lives on through the Philippine Scouts Heritage Society. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause for Battleship Iowa Museum, which is open daily. The Battleship Iowa is celebrating the American spirit with this entry of a U.S. Marine Corps 23¼ foot 1960 M35A2. I'll give you an idea of the size of this vehicle. 3 truckloads per day used to transport sundry supplies and general transport to the battleship on daily. And riding the vehicle, Iowa veterans and representatives, together representing 3 entire generations of service from the 40s, the 50s, and the 80s. By the way, the Battleship Iowa is situated on the LA waterfront, open daily for visitors and group events. And at the front of the reviewing stand, the Veterans of Foreign Wars District 4. Veterans of Foreign Wars, known as the VFW, the oldest veterans organization in the U.S., going back to the year 1899. 116 years of service to the veterans in the community, representing 31 cities in the greater Los Angeles County area, 7,000 members, additional support from the TOR men's and ladies auxiliary units. Their part of California is called the 4th District, 31 cities, led today by State Commander Howard Hagan. 4th District Commander is Lamont Duncan from the Inglewood Post. Ladies Auxiliary President is Sharonda Lewis from the Compton Post. And they are leading the way for the veteran comrades assembled on the Marco trailer. The VFW salutes all veterans serving to protect this great country. Let's salute them. And approaching now, the Combat Infantrymen's Association. Combat veterans from World War II, consisting of veterans from the Korean, the Vietnam, and Desert Storm wars. And some of the awards he received include the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, parachute jump medals, combat infantry badges, Purple Hearts. This is the Combat Infantrymen's Association. And if you look at the back of the truck, you'll see a number 11. I think part of the group is giving them a big lead-in because the Torrance Torettes are so well known and so well received. They need some time for you to look at them coming down the street. Look at that, folks. Colorful, shining, sparkling, glittering. This is a dance and drill team that's been a participant in the Armed Forces Parade since 1965. They began their program back in 1960. It was a Parks and Recreations class. It's continued to grow into an award-winning dance and drill team. And as they approach, let me tell you, the Torrance Torettes are proud to represent the city of Torrance in their travels throughout Southern California. They perform and compete at various parades, shows, and competitions. They're made up of 25 girls, pre-K to the 8th grade, under the supervision of directors, Giovanni Leonard and Javonda Jones. And as the Torrance Torettes approach, let's show them our love. Torrance Torettes have been a darling of the Armed Forces Day Parade for many years, as long as some of us have been coming out here to watch them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. To the Torrance Torettes, the directors Giovanni Leonard, Lavanja Jones, the captain Hannah Sullivan, co-captains Nicole Wood and Cameron Hutchins, and Lieutenants Leah Sullivan and Caitlin Fritchell. The Vietnam veterans are here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vietnam Veterans of America, South Bay, Chapter 53. Thrilled again to be participating in the Great Torrance Armed Forces Day Parade, providing service to veterans in the local community for almost a quarter of a century.
Check one.
This is the only veteran organization specifically chartered by Congress to service Vietnam veterans and their families, and that's veterans of all wars, past and present, for their injuries and illnesses. Following close on their heels, the oath of enlistment marching into place before you, 500 young men and women who are preparing to join all of the various branches of the United States military. This continues to be one of the largest mass oath of enlistment ceremonies conducted publicly, a valued tradition for Torrance, the Armed Forces Day Parade, at a time when the nation has been conducting sustained combat operations globally in support of the war on terror. Especially fitting, we recognize their sacrifices. They are voluntarily willing to make in defense of our great nation a vow to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. These young men and women, truly the cream of the crop of our society, representing less than 1% of all eligible men and women in this nation, they will continue to be part of an honored tradition of defending the freedoms that we've enjoyed in this nation for over 238 years. Round of applause. This may look like another part of the parade. It is not. This is part of the swearing-in ceremony. U.S. Army Recruiting Battalion, Los Angeles, the Rough Riders. As I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, it continues to be one of the largest mass oath of enlistment ceremonies conducted publicly. And in just a minute, you'll see the Grand Marshal, Admiral Servideo, swearing in almost 800 new members of our armed forces who stand before you at attention. Wrapped. Battalions of new recruits moving into position. Each member with a family who walks on proudly. Knowing that the choice their son or daughter is making on this day may very well save many lives.
Raise your right hand. I state your name. Defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States of America and the orders of the officers appointed above me. According to the regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me. Congratulations.
It's official, ladies and gentlemen. One more round of applause. Rear Admiral Joseph Servideo swearing in 800 plus new members of the military. continuing an honored tradition. At this moment, they are changed, and we are changed. Truly a proud moment. And the military vehicles that follow in support. Ladies and gentlemen, the Torrance Armed Forces Day Parade has a rich history of recognizing the military, the war heroes, Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing the United States Navy recruits. Round of applause for them. They didn't join the other group, but the Rear Admiral's going to swear them in as well. Joseph Servideo doing double duty today.
Check.
Each of these members being supported by their friends, their family. The people who have encouraged them, cheered them on. These are the faces of the people who will be defending us. You can never again say you don't know a veteran. You know them. But you don't know somebody who's putting their safety on the front line for us.
Okay, let me try this again. Raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States of America and the orders of officers appointed above me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. Congratulations.
Once again, new members of the United States Navy. Folks, entering now the Bishop Montgomery High School Night Band and Guard.
The Bishop Montgomery Night Band and Guard, reborn in 2011, now seen and heard in places like the Hollywood Christmas Parade, the Disneyland Main Street Parade, and most recently, the first ever London tour for them. Under the direction of Eric Hankey, color guard coach, Patty Klim, drum makers, Eden Wan and Neil Liggins, the band hopes to enjoy this preview of their fall field show. It's entitled, After Dark Stories Are Never Told. Approaching now, the U.S. Coast Guard Silent Drill Team. The United States Coast Guard Ceremonial Honor Guard Silent Drill Team, consisting of 1 petty officer and 12-20 elite, hand-selected Honor Guard seamen, excelling in close order drill with fixed bayonets. They're out of Alexandria, Virginia, folks, but they travel extensively throughout the nation. They've performed at the White House, the Pentagon, Arlington National Cemetery. The Coast Guard Silent Drill Team, exemplifying Ceremonial Honor Guard's time-honored values of pride, poise, and perfection. And coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Coast Guard's parade float. And the young scouts in front, leading the way. This is one of the 5 armed services, the U.S. Coast Guard. It's the only military organization within the Department of Homeland Security. Give them a warm welcome, would you? Since 1790, the Coast Guard has safeguarded the nation's maritime interests in the heartland, the ports, the sea, all around the globe. Over 42,000 active duty members, the men and women of the Coast Guard, protecting the maritime economy and the environment, defending the maritime borders, and putting themselves in harm's way to save those in peril. And we got a number of Coast Guard vessels coming up. These are what the men and women that you've been watching use to help defend those borders that we spoke of previously. This is the U.S. Coast Guard 26-foot aids to navigation. The U.S. Coast Guard Los Angeles Long Beach aids to navigation team, responsible for aids to navigation from Dana Point, California to Morro Bay. They've got one trailable aids to navigation boat comprised of only 6 members. Their mission is diverse, it's vast. They service everything from small buoys in the harbor to lighthouses on the adjacent islands to the Southern California coastline. They're highly skilled, consummate professionals, and give them a big round of applause, folks. As you all know, Coast Guard not only fosters water safety, but they're also our maritime police officers. It's a big sea to guard, and they do a good job of guarding it. Coming up next, the U.S. Coast Guard Port Security Unit 311. Round of applause for them as they enter.
2 minutes out. The United States Coast Guard got
Port Security Unit 311 is an expeditionary warfare unit. They served as part of the Coast Guard's Pacific Area Command and continue to do so, deploying special forces, recognizing the need for a dedicated unit specializing in maritime anti-terrorism force protection. The Coast Guard established the 311 in June 1995. They're designed for rapid deployment, sustained operations, port security, and support of regional combatant commands. They're capable of immediate recall. They can be anywhere in the world, mission ready within 96 hours. Believe it or not, these folks are self-sufficient for up to 30 days, providing protection for key assets. They operate in foreign waters, but they also stand ready to support operations in the U.S. territorial waters. Big round of applause. And as we welcome the U.S. Coast Guard 29-foot response boat, I want to make you aware that overhead, in about a 30-second interval, you're going to see a United States Coast Guard MH-65D Dolphin helicopter come overhead. Keep an eye out for that. I'll tell you about it when it gets here. This is the U.S. Coast Guard 29-foot response boat. The Coast Guard Station LA Long Beach's primary missions are search and rescue, maritime law enforcement, and homeland security. This is a 29-foot response boat. It's built by Middle Shark Boats. It started production in 2012 and can carry up to 6 members. Primary missions are using this platform for search and rescue, recreational boating safety, ports, waterways, coastal security, alien and migrant interdiction, and counter-drugs interdiction. It's not just in the movies. They chase them here for real. And coming up, ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Coast Guard auxiliary vessel Golden Sea Ray. Give them a round of applause as they pass. This is the Golden Sea Ray from Division 11. It's owned and commanded by Joe Sharifi. On board, the Commander Lowell Guitry and Sharon Guitry, along with Commander Tom Olson, Larry Desi, and the driver Yifred Payatos. The Golden Sea Ray specializes in offshore, ocean, and island waterway safety patrol, search and rescue, along with vehicle safety checks and public education. Together, they are Team Coast Guard Lifesavers. And it looks like today we're getting a full complement of Coast Guard vessels. From the ones that chase criminals offshore, to those who help boater safety inland, to those who teach and keep the waterways safe through education and preventative policy. This is the U.S. Coast Guard auxiliary vessel, Sport Craft 292. This auxiliary vessel, Seahawk, from Division 4, is owned by Robert Oy. On board here are Kathy Brown, Roy Barrios, Mark Oshiro, Eric Williams, and Steve DeVere. Round of applause for them, folks. The driver of the towing vehicle is Robert Oy. The vessel does both ocean and inland lake safety patrol. They conduct search and rescue missions. They assist boaters in distress. They help keep Los Angeles and Long Beach Port safe. Overhead, the MH-65D Dolphin helicopter. The U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Los Angeles is located at LAX. They now support 4 MH-65D Dolphin helicopters. They maintain a search and rescue helicopter 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they protect the coastal areas of Southern California from Dana Point to Morro Bay. The drumbeat is familiar, the march, as no other. This is the 300th Army Band. Round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Southern California, the 300th Army Band is a 40-member ensemble made up of soldier musicians from throughout the western and southwestern United States. They're a subordinate unit of the U.S. Army Reserve and the 63rd Regional Support Command under the direction of Chief Warrant Officer Jeff Smith. The mission of the 300th is to foster the support of American people for the armed forces, something there's no shortage of here today. Another round of applause. The Dolphin helicopter making yet another passover. And approaching now the 11th Army Cavalry Regiment 2nd Squadron 11th ACR Marching Unit. The 1st Squadron 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment Marching Element is assembled in tactical wedge. Depending on the terrain, when there's rough terrain, poor visibility, or other factors make controlling this team difficult, the normal interval is reduced. The sides of this wedge can collapse into a column or a file formation for very difficult terrain, and then reopen when needed. Folks, what you're seeing in the distance is the 11th Army Cavalry Regiment's M1A1 Abrams tank. This is a third-generation main battle tank Produced in the U.S., where else? The M1A1 is named after General Crichton Adams, the former Army Chief of Staff. It's a well-armed, heavily armored, highly mobile tank designed for modern armored ground warfare. Notable features: a powerful gas turbine engine, the adoption of sophisticated composite armor. Give them a round of applause, folks. This is one of the heaviest tanks in service. This tank weighs in at close to 62 metric tons. The M1A1 Abrams entered U.S. service in 1980, incorporating improved armament, protection, and electronics. This is the front line of our forces. That was the M1A1. This is the M2A2. The 11th Army Cavalry Regiment's M2A2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. The M2A2 ODS, better known as the Bradley fighting vehicle, designed to transport infantry with armored protection while providing covering fire to suppress enemy troops and armored vehicles. Round of applause for them, folks. The M2 holds a crew of 3, a commander, a gunner, and a driver, as well as 6 fully equipped soldiers. The Bradley's primary armament is a 25mm cannon. It fires up to 200 rounds a minute. Accurate at a distance of up to 2,500 meters. It can be armed with tow missiles, capable of destroying most enemy tanks or armored vehicles, and an M240 Charlie machine gun. These are the vehicles you saw serving extensively in Operation Iraqi Freedom. This is the 11th Army Cavalry Regiment's M88A2 Hercules recovery vehicle. Round of applause. The M88A2. The Hercules armored recovery vehicle is a 63-ton armored track vehicle developed to recover the M1 Abrams tank. You see that crane on the back? That has a 31.8-ton lift capacity. It can do maintenance on the Abrams tank. It has a winch with a 63.5-ton pull capacity. That vehicle can pull damaged, stuck, sunken, or overturned vehicles within a matter of minutes out of the danger zone. The M88A2. Coming up next. Perhaps you or your neighbor have one of these in the driveway. It's called a Humvee, and this is the real deal. This is the 11th Army Cavalry M1151 Humvee. This is the world standard family of light tactical vehicles. Lightweight, high performance, independent four-wheel drive, versatile, adaptable platform, currently supporting over 100 different systems. As an expanded capacity vehicle, it's specifically designed for use over all kinds of roads, as well as cross-country. It can operate in all weather conditions. All of it without sacrificing mobility, dependability, or performance. Round of applause. The M1151, its payload value varies by armor configuration and fragmentation, but it is air transportable and it is droppable. It can be sling loaded by a helicopter. And approaching now from St. Catherine's Academy, the youngest men in uniform today, the 3rd through the 8th grade cadets of the St. Catherine's Academy Marching Knights Band, Color Guard, Unarmed Drill Team, and Marching Regiment from Anaheim, California.
St. Catherine's, ladies and gentlemen.
Is the only academy of its kind in the nation. Both local and international students attend. They represent more than 8 different countries. This year they're celebrating 125 years of dedication to the Catholic community, the ministry, study, and prayer. These cadets earn their uniform decorations for conduct, citizenship, and scholarship. Coming up, this is their lead out. The United States Army Corps of Engineers Command and Control Vehicle. A round of applause for the lead corps folks. Howdy, folks. Glad the rain held off, huh? Makes you wonder how many of you had your umbrellas at the ready yesterday. The Army Corps of Engineer Command and Control Vehicle. This represents the Emergency Command and Control Vehicle, designed to provide a communication platform for first responders in areas hit hard by disasters. It's a 47-foot truck. It provides communications and workspace for 11 folks, totally self-contained for up to 72 hours. There are 15 such vehicles located across the continental United States. And I'm told that joining the vehicle is Bobber, the water and safety dog. I don't see him yet. Oh, Bobber went by. Okay. So Bobber is the water and safety dog. This is the mascot of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. He wants all kids to be safe in and around the water. Kids, listen to this. Bobber has 4 things he'd like you to know. Remember them. Number 1, learn to swim well. Number 2, don't swim in water over your head. Number 3, always have an adult with you. And number 4, wear a life jacket. Bobber making friends with admirals for video. And this is the Corps of Engineers Command and Control Vehicle. Round of applause. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Los Angeles District, is responsible for more than 250,000 square miles in 4 states, California, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. They protect 420 miles of shoreline from Morro Bay to the Mexican border. Also supports 9 military bases. They were established in 1898. The mission includes flood damage reduction, navigation, environmental restoration, emergency operations, military construction, and engineering design. Truly, truly versatile folks. And if you're a little warm today, you won't be in a minute. This is the U.S. Army Reserve fire truck, the TFFT. Spraying folks on the sideline. Looks like some folks did bring their umbrella. This is from the 163rd Ordnance Company. They're located in Tustin, California. The unit has over 200 personnel, 50 soldiers, just returning from deployment last year. Round of applause for them once again. This is the California National Guard Humvee. Highly mobile, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle. This, by the way, is the vehicle that has largely supplanted the roles that were originally performed by the original Jeep. The Jeep was then followed by the Vietnam-era M1 51.25 ton, the M561 Gamma Goat, but now we have the Humvee. And it's a military vehicle, once again. Its widespread use in the Persian Gulf War helped inspire the civilian Hummer automobile that perhaps your neighbor has in their garage. This is the California Army National Guard M1120 HEMT. LHS, that's HEMTT. Alpha Company 640. The 640th Aviation Support Battalion. Round of applause. This vehicle can be equipped with 7 different kinds of racks for a loading system. The job at hand determines which rack they're going to use. The most commonly used is a flat rack. And that can be loaded from the ground or on the truck. And they can haul many different kinds of cargo, everything from vehicles to liquids. Payload carrying capacity there of 11 tons. A pulling payload of 11 tons on the trailer. You think about how much a ton is, you need it on the battlefield. And approaching now, the California Army National Guard LMTV. This is the M107 standard cargo truck designed to transport cargo and soldiers. Payload capacity 2.7 tons. This is the vehicle, widely used in Iraq and Afghanistan. The 1078. Round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, the North High School
Junior ROTC. In charge of the battalion, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Grace Kim, Cadet Major Justin Ishii. The Color Guard and Service Flag Guard are commanded by Cadet Commandant Sergeant Major Nicholas Taguchi. The North High School Junior ROTC. And by the way, folks, these are the champions of the West Coast and all Army drill meets from Arizona to Kentucky, giving their best and a desire simply to be the best there is. Distance. The sign, their moniker. The South High Marching Band approaching. This band is under the direction of Tom King. And they feature the South High Drill Team, the South High Color Guard, and a rich military tradition. I think I should tell you, this year the South High Spartan Band has been recognized by the Southern California Judges Association, as well as the Southern California School Band and Orchestra Association, as one of the top marching bands in the state of California. This band has performed throughout the U.S. and Europe, and they just got back from Italy. Let's welcome them in. And if you didn't recognize it, that was Claudio Grafula's famous piece, Washington Grays, that was once performed for Abraham Lincoln. The South High Marching Band. This is the U.S. Marine Corps marching element. 1st Transportation Support Battalion is 1st Marine Expeditionary Forces General Support Transportation Asset. The battalion provides 1st MEF with transportation missions consisting of ground transportation of equipment, personnel, and supplies, utilization of heavy equipment and maintenance, rapid transport of supplies, aerial delivery, external lifts. The U.S. Marine Corps' 1st Marine Division Light Armored Vehicle. Passing before you is Alpha Section, 1st Platoon, Company B, 1st Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion. A light armored reconnaissance platoon comprised of 4 light armored vehicles, as you see. LA-25 is an 8-wheel drive, all-terrain vehicle armed with a 25mm Bushmaster chain gun. Now here's something to see. This is a U.S. Marine Corps 1st Marine Division medium tactical vehicle towing the 1st Marine Division M777 howitzer. That is a howitzer. Now you know what it is when you talk about it. It's a towed 155mm artillery piece. It's a successor to the 198 howitzer. It weighs over 9,000 pounds. It's got a 200-inch barrel, can fire up to 5 rounds a minute. It's combined with GPS-guided munitions that allows for accurate fire at a range of up to 25 miles. This is the U.S. Marine Corps 1st Marine Division Medium Tactical. No, this is the Redondo Union High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC. Hey, welcome, guys. Led by Cadet 1st Lieutenant Tristan Schenkel, Battalion Commanding Officer Cadet 2nd Lieutenant Garika Macalano. Supervised by Senior Marine Instructor Chief Warrant Officer 3 Keith Willoughby. The Carson High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC. The primary function of these programs, ladies and gentlemen, is to develop the leadership abilities and build the character of high school students who choose to participate. Accomplished through a curriculum designed to teach participating students the basic leadership tenets and skills. The end result, the creation of a young citizen imbued with patriotism and a deeper understanding of their responsibilities to country, community, school, families, and friends. Approaching in the distance, the West High School Entertainment Union. This is one of the most widely traveled musical organizations in the Western United States. They performed in 17 foreign countries. They traveled to Europe every 4 years, and it's an outstanding group. Performing for the National Football League in Europe, as well as in the U.S. Also selected as the first band in the drill team for the 1984 Olympics held in Los Angeles. Top honors at competitions. Renowned with a reputation for excellence both nationally and internationally. Round of applause. Folks, the West High Marching Unit In 1993 and 1998, performed in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. 1995, they marked their 4th appearance in the Tournament of Roses Parade, Pasadena. In 2004 and 2010, they performed at the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Parade. And in the summer of 2007, they traveled to Spain, France, Italy, Switzerland, and Germany. The West High School Entertainment Unit. Another round of applause. And this is a U.S. Navy Jeep. This is the Recruiting Command Duty Jeep. Welcome, gentlemen. It's driven by RDAC Chairman Dave Rupp. With him is the Executive Officer, Commander Mike Lee. In the backseat, Los Angeles District Outreach Officer, Lieutenant Commander Eric Hahn. The 7th year for this 1946 Navy Jeep. It represents the Navy Recruiting Command based in El Segundo and covers Los Angeles and the entire Pacific. Next up, Narbonne High School Navy Junior ROTC. The Color Guard. And the entire procession. This is Narbonne's 8th year participation in the Torrance Armed Forces Day Parade. And right on their heels, the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps Haven and Lane Victory Division. United States Sea Cadet Corps is a nonprofit youth program for boys and girls ages 11 to 17, providing compelling, life-changing programs, providing the opportunity for teamwork, discipline, camaraderie, service, through a passionate all-volunteer force. And close behind, the Richardson Middle School Band and Color Guard. Today are grades 6, 7, and 8. They're performing Symbol of Honor by Ted Massang. The Richardson music director is Miss Carrie Willett. Thank you. And thank you to the kids who participate. And as we watch Richardson Middle School make their exit, coming down the lane, the United States Air Force Marching Unit. And leading this formation of over 100 Air Force members of Space and Missile Systems Center, Los Angeles Air Force Base, is Colonel James Bell. He's the Director of the Financial Management and the Comptroller Directorate. Mr. Bell directs the planning, the programming, the budgeting, and the execution of the center's annual $6 billion budget, and as the center's chief financial officer, he's the principal financial advisor to the Air Force Program Executive Officer for Space. This is the United States Air Force Marching Unit.
Round of applause, folks. Welcome them in.
Each year, the City of Torrance focuses special recognition on one branch of the military. They designate it as the honored service for the celebration. The honored service, the United States Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, Air Force, or Coast Guard, is invited to designate a senior ranking flag officer to serve as the Grand Marshal. And this is the Air Force's marching unit. Folks, coming through, Colonel Kurt Driscoll, United States Air Force.
Colonel Driscoll is one of the City of Torrance's own.
And has just retired 2 weeks ago after 30 years of service in the United States Air Force. He was serving as the Director of Operations for the 618th Air Operations Center, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. In this capacity, he directed Air Mobility Command's fleet of over 1,100 aircraft, flying over 850 sorties daily around the globe. He has served our city's Armed Forces Day Parade as the aerial flyover coordinator, and we thank him for his direct service to the City of Torrance.
And next we have the Air Force Reserve Mini-Jet Team flying their P-51 Mustang. Good afternoon, sir. All the volunteer sergeants take the mini-jets to organizations for kids with illnesses
And disabilities throughout the year. This P-51 was built by volunteers and supporters of the mini-jet team. And that cannon fire signifies the San Pedro High School Junior ROTC. The San Pedro High Air Force Junior ROTC was established in June of 1995. It's won numerous awards, including the prestigious Air Force Junior ROTC Distinguished Unit Award 5 consecutive years. Very involved with the community, including the VFW, the American Legion, and the Boys and Girls Club. This is the first North Carolina Cavalry Civil War reenactors. This is a group of living historians seeking to honor the men and the women, both blue and gray, who fought in the war between the states. They're based in Southern California. They participated in reenactment parades and educational presentations throughout the U.S. And these are the sons of Union veterans of the Civil War. A combined reserve color guard made up of members from Los Angeles, Orange, and Riverside chapters uniformed to represent Union soldiers, sailors, Marines of the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. And the Central Area Combined Marching Band. Give them a warm welcome, folks. This band is students from Madrona Middle School, Hull Middle School, and the Torrance High School Tartar Band and Color Guard, all three schools marching together. Folks, Torrance High was the first high school in Torrance, so these students are embodying a long tradition. Excellence. Excellence in Torrance schools, excellence at all levels.
Mention the song. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's a wrap. I think everybody okay. Oh, there we go. That's in the song.
In honor and memory of Louis Zamperini, the Torrance High Band is going to play one of Louis' favorite songs, Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy,
As they did. And with that, I'd like to wish you a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you next year. I'm Emmett Miller. Take care.